Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. Join me here today on a lovely afternoon. It's been slightly brisk for May, let's say, but lovely and sunny. It's meant I've got on with quite a few jobs, planted some of our potatoes which will be ready August sort of time. Also planted a new pear tree which is very exciting. Obviously we're not going to get much off it this year, but it replaces a pear tree that we inherited on the plot and sadly died a year or so ago. Obviously playing a slightly longer game with that one. Also picked the first batch of this rainbow chard, absolutely lovely, in a pasta or something like that. So that's the same as plants as last year, and they've just come up really vigorously in the last sort of week or so. So thought I'd pick some of that. But of course, while that is all extremely interesting, I am here to talk about whiskey. And what is the Allotment Dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it's another exciting one. It's in this sample box here from Ardbeg, and it's the new Ardbeg Scorch, and this is the committee release. So here we are, Ardbeg Scorch for the committee edition, and this is the Ardbeg Day release. So Ardbeg have become pretty well known, this quite cult Islay distillery, become pretty well known for this Ardbeg Day release. And Ardbeg Day is the last day of the Islay festival, the Feis Ile festival. It's normally around the start of June sometime, so they always release a special edition for this. Firstly to the committee, the Ardbeg committee, which you can join for free, by the way, if you just go to the Ardbeg website. That's a sort of committee for a fan club, basically, for fans of Ardbeg or Islay whiskies, of course. But they normally release this at cask strength to the committee around this time of the year, and then around Ardbeg Day at the end of May, start of June, they release a sort of general bottling which is more widely available, and you can get in specialist retailers and the Ardbeg embassies that are dotted around the world. So this one, as I say, is the cask strength. It's the committee edition, and it's 51.7%. The more general bottling, which will be out in a sort of end of this month, is 46%. So same idea. Why is it called Scorch, I hear you ask? Well, it's because this has been matured in casks which have been very heavily charred and scorched, basically, and there's a whole story about Ardbeg are quite creative with their marketing. So there's this whole story about a dragon that lives in one of the warehouses, the dunnage warehouses there on Islay, and sort of scorches the cask with the fire from his breath, and all of that. So I'll leave you to decide if that is true or not, but basically these casks are American oak bourbon casks, heavily charred, and what it does, it looks like the packaging has some sort of dragon motif on it, and what happens when you char the wood that heavily is it starts to look like reptile skin. So it's actually called alligator char, or in this case dragon char, but yes, it looks like, if you see the back of an alligator, it looks like that sort of cracked, sort of reptilian sort of surface. So that's what's happened here. No age statement. It was going for £100, but all sold out, as most of the Ardbeg committee releases do. But as I say, end of this month, there's the general release coming out, which you'll be able to get. So I think that's more than enough chat, to be honest, about gardening and Ardbeg and dragons and so on. So I think we should probably have a taste of this and tell you what I think. So I've dug out the the old Ardbeg mini glass again. It seems appropriate. So here we go. Let's have a little taste. So immediately, sort of jumping out of the bottle there. Very, very nice. Pretty punchy. I mean, it's, you know, it doesn't say the age, as I say, but it's pretty punchy, pretty vibrant. There's this sort of lovely golden colour there. Not too dark at all, but this great mix of sweet and smoke, which if you get heavily charred barrels, it tends to exaggerate flavours that are already there. It brings out some of these deeper compounds in the wood. So particularly one called vanillin, which is, it almost crystallises, and guess, you know, that tastes of vanilla. So you've got vanilla straight away, but then you've got some of these much sweeter notes as well. It's like cinder toffee, you know, that sort of crunchy toffee with the air bubbles inside that you get at the fairground, something like that. And then there's some golden syrup, quite floral, sort of heather honey as well. But then this big hit of quite acrid, medicinal smoke. It's got quite a immediately ashy, but then a bit more sort of seaweedy, mossy, maybe even a bit of like damp autumn leaves in there as well. But definitely this charcoal ashy sort of feel. Let's have a taste. That's pretty punchy as well. 51.7%. It's got this wonderful sort of vibrancy to it, but it follows quite a similar path actually. This sort of sweet and juicy, and then this, you know, mingling with these much sort of smokier, peatier notes. Big crack of sort of pepper as well. A bit of chili, fresh chili in there as well. Immediately, this sort of heat and warmth. But yeah, this sort of getting straight away again, this cinder toffee, this sort of fairground sort of bobbly toffee. I don't really know how to describe it. Maybe it's just a British thing. I don't know if that appears elsewhere around the world. But and then big blob of golden syrup and this heather honey, adding this slightly floral quality. But the smoke has this charcoal, ashy, medicinal. There's a little bit of brininess, sort of seaweedy quality in there as well. And then this sort of damp earth, sort of moss, and these sort of autumn leaves. But it's quite a confected sweetness, I would say, almost like boiled sweets as well. It wasn't really there on the nose. But let's have another taste. As your mouth gets used to it, your saliva kind of mixes with the whiskey, dilutes it a little bit, and there's this sort of biscuity, like burnt oat cookie sort of note coming through, and then a bit of late spice, a pinch of cinnamon, or, you know, gingerbread, something like that. As I say, this crack of white, sort of hot white pepper, and an interesting little twist of almost like pink grapefruit at the end, like the thick sort of peel. Yeah, very, very nice. It's such a shame it's sold out, but then all the Ardbeg committee releases always sell out very rapidly. The website normally breaks. So if you want one, you'll have to pay at least double the price on sort of auction sites now. But as I say, wait until the end of the month and it will be out at 46% in, you know, most specialist retailers and these Ardbeg embassies which are dotted around the world. But really, that's about it from me at the allotment here. As I say, lovely afternoon. It's been my pleasure to talk to you, and thanks for watching. and hopefully we'll see you for the next Allotment Dram very soon. Cheers.